Tommy Daniels here on the Allen Americans podcast, joined by former Allen Americans defenseman, part of the alumni now, number 43, Kevin Young. Younger, good to see you, buddy. Where are you these days?
Likewise, Tommy. I'm kind of in between Chicago and Milwaukee in my wife Becky's hometown here.
So what is your full-time gig? I know you're not playing hockey anymore. What are you doing these days?
I have not touched the ice. I think it's 53 months now, and I couldn't be happier. My body's pretty happy about it too. I'm currently working for a sports company. We do events throughout the Midwest, as far east as Fort Wayne, and then we go as far north as up into Wisconsin and sort of everywhere in between. We do soccer events and lacrosse, and then we also have youth club teams for our company. So it's kind of a one major company with about 5 different verticals, where I'm on the operations side of sort of making sure everything runs behind the scenes where I belong.
Kev, I don't know if you can see behind me on the wall, I've got the championship photo there from the 2015 ECHL Kelly Cup Championship. Coincidentally, the other night we did the replay of that over at the iPic Theater across the way. Great amount of fans showed up. It was so cool. I have not watched that game, since that Sunday afternoon here in Allen. Neither has Marty, and Marty was there as well. What do you remember about that game, if you wouldn't mind just sharing your thoughts going into that Game 7 after a crazy 3-game set in South Carolina?
Yeah, it was kind of wild in South Carolina there. A couple, I remember, overtime games. We won, and then some kind of delay before Game 6. It kind of threw everyone a little bit out of sync there, and they came out and played really well. And I think, if I remember correctly, we set the tone sort of going into Game 7. We weren't going to be pushed around. We were ready to go, and then there's just like an eerie calm amongst the team. I think that's the benefit of we had a really old team, especially for minor pro. We had a lot of veteran players on it, but we had such a good leadership core. Everyone on the group sort of had their own thing they brought to the room that sort of calmed the other guy down. It was just, we all fed off each other. I remember playing 2-touch just the same. Like, there was no pressure in the world. We all knew what we were capable of, and we all believed in each other. And it was just sort of another game that you've been playing since you were 4 or 5 years old.
The one thing, of course, after watching that game the other night is, Chad Costello played so well in that game. And I remember him telling me on the trip back from South Carolina that, he's going to have a big game. He's due. And I think, he knew that Game 7, he really needed to put the team on his shoulders, and he'd been so good all year. And sure enough, he gets the 2 goals, including that breakaway goal against Jeff Giakaitis, who coincidentally wound up beating him out for the MVP award. A lot of people were upset about that. Not Chad. Chad, said, hey, individual awards are just that. But, Chad had such a great season, 125 points. Giakaitis and Parker Milner had split that year in goal. And a lot of people felt like Chad should have been the MVP. And it was great to see him step up in that Game 7.
I completely agree. He was the best player all year. He was the best player in every game in the playoffs, and he continued doing that for Allen there for a couple more years. I think he made it pretty clear he's an elite level player. He just he always had that quiet air of confidence around him that you knew when the moment was going to get big, he was going to rise to that occasion, and he definitely did that. And when your best player's going, he's putting that effort forth, I think everyone else just sort of grabs the rope and comes along for the ride.
You had such a great offensive year that year for the Americans as we look back at your wonderful career, and that pretty much scanned the globe. But, in that year for Allen, 44 points in 71 games, 8 goals and 36 assists. You really put up great offensive numbers. And I remember just thinking how good Allen was, having both you and Tyler Ludwig, who both had a cannon of a shot from the outside.
I think the whole decor, like when we got Connie late, Baker was amazing, Nolan, everybody that played. Of course, Genzi was running that top power play like nobody's business. We were such a threat sort of in every angle, and my deep partner and my stallmate, I can't forget Trevor there, the other Ludwig. But I think just that decor I think is one of the best I've seen in my minor pro and my short U.S. career. I never saw anything that really compared to the mobility, the toughness, the physicality we brought, and then sort of the offensive and defensive pride that sort of everyone took. That we knew we were all very offensive players sort of by trait, but I don't think a thing happened until our own end was taken care of. And of course, when you had Joel and Riley back there too, you knew you had all the help in the world. So it was
Right.
not a ton of pressure, right? You just do your job, get the puck up to those forwards. It was really fortunate, I think, for me just to be part of such a deep, talented team where the second I signed, and I think everyone else that came new to that team knew big things were going to happen, especially joining the league. And it was sort of a huge opportunity to show the league what we were all about. And that I think even the year prior, they won the CHL there, the 2 years prior, right? I remember one of those. And it was just sort of, there was a lot of doubt. There was a lot of everything. And I know I left an ECHL team to join the CHL again, but then we merged to the EC, and it was sort of a point of pride showing that we belonged. And not only that we belonged, that we were a champion caliber team. I think we did it all year, still to a lot of doubters, still coming back to Chad. I think a lot of that played into it, that the league wasn't as pleased or thought maybe we had more of a cupcake schedule because we played our teams, but we showed that we were the best team in the league that year. And I think it was by a long shot.
Well, you know, the one thing, and you mentioned earlier your year in Wichita when you played against Allen in the finals, and my goodness, as I look back at those numbers, I knew they were great, but you had 59 points in 66 games, 24 goals, 35 assists. You know, that's pretty impressive numbers for any defenseman at any level. And you know, that series against Wichita, and I know it ended in heartbreak. How crazy was that for you when you ended up coming here to play in Allen after the Americans had broken your heart a few years before? You guys are up 2-0 in the third period before, you know, our team finally woke up. And how crazy was that when you ended up playing for the Americans?
I think after the year, like in between, it's definitely heartbreak, but in this sport, right, you know, getting to that is no easy feat. You got to take a little bit of pride of going to, I think it was double overtime of Game 7 of the championship with, like, well, easily the two of the best teams in the league. It could have gone either way. There's chances on both sides, and you end up losing and sort of regroup as quick as you can and move on with your career. I ended up getting the opportunity, got a call from Steve there, Coach Marty, that he liked the way I played, and I had the opportunity to come back, and I knew that he didn't build average teams. He built competitive teams, championship caliber is what I was trying to say there. And having that opportunity, especially at the age I was at, getting a little longer in the tooth in my career, I wanted to win, and I thought that Allen provided me with the best opportunity to win, and I got lucky, and the team came together, and we got that championship.
Last thing for you here, Kevin, you know, looking back at your wonderful career, which, you know, took you across the pond as well. Give me your top 3 moments, not including the championship, but what are the other top 3 moments of your hockey playing career?
I think I won 2 other championships, and just coming back to that is always anything that you can build a huge memory on with your teammates is definitely the best memory to bring with hockey. So being fortunate enough to win 3, those are my favorite times. There's really no comparison. I got to go when I was younger to a few NHL camps sort of as like a spot filler, and that was pretty cool for me. It was nice to be there, but just winning is always the goal, and getting that chance to win at any level that's the memories that I take with me the most out of my career.
Well, you know, thanks for doing this. It was great to see you. It was great to relive that 2015 Kelly Cup championship the other night. I know we had a packed house over there at the iPick, and a lot of people, it's funny because I told Marty, I said, God, man, I'm getting goosebumps, you know, just listening. And here I am calling the game, right? But I mean, listening to that final minute when the crowd is chanting three-peat, three-peat. And the building was electric. You know, there was not a seat available anywhere. It was standing room only. Sunday afternoon. It was incredible. And to me, you know, I always say that the first one was the best one for me because, number one, it was the first championship I had ever been a part of. And being a guy from Buffalo, I'd been through a lot of heartache So it was nice to experience that championship. But I think the one that meant the most to Allen fans was the one against South Carolina. They had such an incredible season. What did they win? At 23 games in a row during that season. It was an incredible run. Nobody gave us, as you mentioned earlier, nobody gave us a chance coming into that series because, they were kind of the darlings of the ECHL, and here we are, a little Central Hockey League team coming in, and just to kind of make our statement, as you mentioned, with a pretty veteran team. I think that one was definitely kind of put us on the map with everybody saying, yeah, Allen's for real.
Yeah, 100%. They always will be. I mean, they're in a great place. They've got a great rink. The fans are amazing, and especially with Coach Marty there at the helm, he's always going to put together a winner. And I know they're really competitive this last year until COVID and all that happened. I know I'm still in pretty frequent contact, especially with Spencer there and Gen Z, and I know in the area. He's back, right? I read that. So, I mean, you got to have the pillars to build a successful team, and you guys have another great leader there that's going to give his heart and soul as soon as he's allowed to.
Well, Kevin, thanks again for doing this. Please give my best to Becky, and hopefully our paths will cross again someday soon.
For sure, absolutely. Thanks for having me on. Just sidebar, thank you to all the fans there when I was there for the support, and going through that championship with you guys was awesome. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Kev. Take care, buddy.
See you later.